Google. It's where innovation happens. The brightest minds all collect together to create not only one of the most valuable companies in the world, a load-bearing foundation block of our modern society, but also one of the biggest collections of innovative goods and services in the world. So, what's their secret? Billion-pound supercomputers that come up with every idea under the sun, cross-reference it with the laws of physics to find out what's physically possible and then adjust for budget until they have the best value to innovation ratio so they can come up with the best idea possible? No, of course not. Instead, they have a very simple brainstorming technique that can be used by anyone. But Google is massive. So does it work on a small scale? Does it work for the average Joe? I wanted to find out. So I tried brainstorming like a Googler for 30 days. Quickly, before we start, please subscribe to the Unfold channel. I'm pushing for 100 subscribers by the end of June, and I'm about 34 off at the moment. I'll say about, I know I'm exactly 34 off. So please click that subscribe button, it really helps me grow. Done? Good. Here's how to brainstorm like a Googler. 3 steps. That's all it is, nothing fancy. It's more a mindset and a way of thinking than some super complex technique. Step 1 is to know your user. It's all about knowing who you're putting your product out to. For products, it will be the customer. For videos, it will be the viewer. For internal processes, it will be you and your team. For this, use as much data and information as physically possible. The more you know about your customer, the more you'll understand their actual needs and their current pain points with whatever you're producing at the moment. This stage actually sparks a lot of the ideas because you really understand what the user wants. And the thing is, once you know what the user wants, the ideas will start to freely flow as you start to solve their problems. Step 2 is to think 10 times. This is the idea that thinking 10 times is better than just adding 1 to a current solution. Thinking 10 times means you have to think bigger, more creatively, and make it 10 times better than what there is at the moment. Incremental improvements are great, but in reality, they're not truly innovation per se. You've got to think wider, look at the bigger picture, and solve the problem in the most creative way you possibly can. Then finally, step 3 is to prototype. You need to make a prototype of your idea as quickly as possible, because this gives you an opportunity to see firstly whether that product will work as an initial idea, and then to work on the flaws that it currently has, so you can make it as close to perfect as possible. Matthew Syed talked about failing fast in his book Black Box Thinking. This is the idea that you need to come up with a minimum viable product right at the start, so you can then learn its flaws and adapt and change it as many times as possible until you come up with the best possible solution. The quicker you make a prototype, the quicker you can watch it fail, and the quicker you can learn. Now, I did this brainstorming technique for 30 days surrounding projects to do with this channel, and honestly, I thought it was really good. It was a great habit to have at the start of the day. Get the mind working, really flex the brain muscle. It also keeps you really excited about the work you're doing. Because you're thinking big, it opens up all these doors and ideas for the sort of potential you actually have. I mean, as I said at the beginning, I'm sat on 66 subscribers, and I'm thinking about all the massive stuff I could do later on if and when I keep this going. I personally came up with a whole load of new ideas and projects that I want to implement in the future. And that's got me really excited about the future. So it's a really worthwhile thing to get involved with. However, the thing with thinking big and this think 10 times attitude that Google has in their brainstorming technique is that if you're a bit of a pragmatist or you don't have unlimited funds, it's actually pretty difficult to get yourself in this mindset because you're trying to be too much of a realist. Prototyping is also particularly difficult on a small scale. Google's offices has everything you need for building your robot butler or whatever it is you're going for, but your home office doesn't necessarily have that. I mean, Google's got slides and rockets and the closest I've got to any sort of prototyping technology is asking Alexa if she's listening to me.
How you doing?
Shut the f*** up, you
The absolute key thing you need to take away from this though is that knowing your user is by far the most important step. I personally want to massively increase the amount of information I can collect about my viewers and what you actually want to see, because it can dictate my whole content and make you enjoy my videos more. So comment below if you want to see a new type of video, or if you have any ideas of what you want to see in the future. The more you understand about your user, your customers, your viewers, whoever it is, the better you can tailor your solutions to their actual needs. And it also helps you realize their actual needs in the first place. But there's one really important thing to go with this, and it's if you have the data and information, actually use it. There are so many occasions where data is available for people, especially maybe in your day job. Data will be available to you, but people will go with what they think they know instead of what's actually true. The numbers and statistics about your customers don't lie. My recommendation would be to focus on that knowing your user phase, put as much time and effort into that phase as possible, and then rethink the think 10 times phase. Maybe one day, go for a slightly more realistic solution. Go for something that you can implement as soon as possible. Then the next day, go for something a little bit more out there. A future idea, but you can see yourself being able to do it soonish. And then on the third day, have that full-on think 10 times attitude and really go for a wacky idea that might be something to work towards in the future. That then keeps the excitement going over 3 days. It means you can come up with actual solutions for now and solutions for your future goals. Regardless, I think this is a really good way of brainstorming. So if you do any brainstorming in your day job, maybe for a business, a YouTube channel, or whatever project you're working on, give it a go, wake up your brain, keep yourself excited for what you're doing, and meet those customer needs. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, like the video if you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all very, very soon.